Hello again. Off the top, the Filter Forefront. Our top 4 of the day, including, has the apple turned bad? But we'll begin with this. No matter what you thought about Michael Jackson, one thing is certain. The man was an incredible entertainer. He had millions of fans worldwide and made millions of dollars every year. In the year since Michael Jackson's passing, his estate has made more than $250 million. And since he's such a moneymaker, the king of pop may soon help California out of its financial crisis. Here's the idea. Turn Jackson's Neverland Ranch into a state park. Yep. Charge visitors to walk the grounds, ride the Ferris wheel, visit the zoo. The state assemblyman who chairs the Committee on Arts and Tourism thinks it makes great sense, and the state's chapter of the NAACP is backing the idea. The thought is, Graceland in Tennessee makes $36 million a year. If California can acquire Neverland Ranch, it could be a huge moneymaker. Our contributors tonight, David Reese and Charlotte Laws. Our pictures are furnished by Skype. Charlotte, I'll start with you. Could cost the state $100 million to buy Neverland, but in the long run, do you think it would be worth it?
Well, I think they need to do a cost-benefit analysis like a business would do and determine whether we would indeed make money. I don't personally support zoos, so I wouldn't be supportive of maintaining a zoo there and confining animals. But the other question I have is whether it should be called a state park. We have 1.4 million acres of state parkland in the state, 278 parks, and the official definition is it's supposed to maintain habitat and protect threatened species of plants and animals, or to look at ancient Native American sites and preserve those. And I'm not sure that having manicured grounds and a locomotive and roller coaster and that kind of thing really qualifies as a state park.
Well,
so
no,
maybe it should be a museum or something like that.
Well, museum, state park, call it what you want to call it. The bottom line is this is to generate revenue. What do you think, David?
Well, okay, let me ask you both. Have either of you been to Neverland?
I have not.
No.
Okay, I have. It is out in the middle of nowhere. You can't even make a cell phone call from there. It's a 2-lane, little tiny road. There's no motels, gas stations, restaurants, nothing for miles. And this idea has been floated before, and the residents are hopping mad about it. They are totally opposed to this. So are all the elected officials in Santa Barbara County. This is never going to happen. I don't know why the NAACP thinks this is a great idea. I can't quite figure out what their angle is on this. But, cost-benefit analysis, I can tell you right now, it's just not practical. I mean, it'll cost them $100 million to buy the property. There is no zoo there. Those animals have been gone for years. The Ferris wheel, creditors took that out a long time ago. That is just a piece of property that used to belong to Michael Jackson. You want to build a place to honor Michael Jackson, fine, but let's do it someplace practical, and Neverland just is not practical.
Yeah, but
the NAACP likes the idea of honoring a black person, and that's the reason why they're involved in this.
Yeah,
great, let's do it somewhere where there's some good freeway off-ramps and some motels and hotels and restaurants.
All right. We figured that one out. Let's figure this one out. It'll be the most hotly contested issue on the November ballot. Yes or no? You want to legalize and tax marijuana? Now, last week's field poll showed 48% of Californians against legalizing marijuana. 44% were for it. But there are always new polls, and they can say whatever you want them to say. A Survey USA Today poll released said Prop 19 would pass 50% to 40%. But as we approach the actual vote, these types of issues always get much closer. Today, Dianne Feinstein came out against legalization. When the smoke clears, which side will win the battle? And would legalizing it really be good for our state, David?
Well, here's the thing about this. Do I think it's going to pass? I don't know. I think it's going to be a squeaker. I mean, I really don't know. And people lie to pollsters. What they do in the ballot box and what they tell someone who calls them and asks them what they're going to do are two different things. Would it be a good thing for our state? I think that all depends on exactly what we want for our state. I think the war on drugs is ridiculous, okay? We're never going to win it. I think we're just throwing money down a bottomless pit. So the present war on drugs isn't working. Should we then turn around and legalize drugs? Well, I'm not sure that's the best idea either, but I will say this, that I think as society continues to, liberalize and is starting to be more tolerant of drugs in general, I think if it doesn't pass this time around, it will pass sometime soon. And we as a society are going to have to decide, how do we want to deal with drugs? Because once marijuana is legal, well, then where do you draw the line?
Well,
why isn't Coke legal?
That's the point. And when you say,
right.
I'm not sure we should fight drugs, the war on drugs, I mean, you can't be suggesting here we're going to legalize heroin. I mean,
of course not.
But you make the point. If one's legal, where do you draw the line?
And could anybody argue that the war on drugs is working?
Charlotte, what do you say?
Well, I think that we should. I mean, I don't know if it's going to pass or not. I think it is going to be a squeaker. I totally agree with David. I think it may slightly lose, but I do support legalization. It's going to bring revenues. The very least amount it would bring us is $1 billion to the state. It's going to reduce crime, in my view, because you're not going to have the control by drug cartels and gangs. And I think that it's, you know, studies show that it's not any more dangerous than alcohol. Do you ever hear cases of people who die from pot or who commit crimes because of pot? So I think that we should legalize, and I hope it passes, but I think it'll be very close. And I agree with David that it probably will pass in the near future if it doesn't pass this go around.
Yeah, you know, the argument here is, first of all, if someone's smoking pot or someone's drunk, they can commit a crime. So that's fair enough to say. Right. And also, there's a train of thought that says, start with marijuana, it's going to lead to something else. Now, if you favor passing this, you go, that's never going to happen. But if you don't, if you oppose it, you go, one might lead to another. I think we can all agree it's going to be very, very hotly contested. Okay.